And that's it. We are live on the interwebs.
Yay! Hi.
I told you that countdown is ominous. It scares me. This is Jessica, and I'm going to read Jessica's thing that she sent me. Jessica's a wife, mother, teacher, and founder of Cayla's Coats. Cayla's Coats was founded in memory of her daughter Cayla, who drowned at the age of 20 months on a canal in the waters of Homosassa. Jessica and her husband Sean and sons Aidan and Brantley have taken Cayla's tragic death and are spreading the word about the importance of water safety education within their community of Citrus County, Florida. They have provided coats to children within the local school system, provided life jackets to local elementary schools and preschools, or coats to local elementary schools and preschools, as well as providing a life jacket loaner station in the community. Jessica and Sean want to make sure that their story don't become your story. Is that about it?
That's about it.
Gotcha.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. So how long ago did Cayla pass away?
2010, so it'll be 8 years this summer, July.
Gotcha. And you said it was in a canal?
Yes, my mom lives on a canal in the Homosassa River, and we were getting ready to go on the boat, and her house was under construction, so she was showing some people her house and what was changing, and we were getting ready to go on the boat and lost track of Cayla and thought that the other person had her, and she ended up in the canal.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Where is Homosassa?
Homosassa, we are about an hour north of Tampa.
Okay.
Right we're the manatee capital. So people come to see manatees where we're at.
Gotcha. If anything, what do you think would have helped Cayla?
There's a number of different things that failed on that day. The number one was the adult supervision, active adult supervision. That definitely would have prevented it. Another thing would have been fencing along the water line. Having her wearing the life jacket, even though she wasn't on the boat yet, but we were still around that water. And then having those survival swim lessons. Either one of those four things could have prevented our tragedy.
Gotcha. So let's, if you don't mind, let's back up a little bit. I wanted to know more about you as a human and kind of your superhero origin story and kind of where you've come from and what you did before now. So can you tell me about you? You know, what do you?
Yes.
I know you're a teacher.
Yes, I'm a teacher. I've taught kindergarten and first grade for 13 years. And I bring a lot of Cayla into my classroom. My kids know her. My boys know her. And I mean, I guess my superpower would be education. I just want to educate kids, adults of all aspects, and making sure, you know, that they're set for life in academics as well as safety.
And you said you've been teaching 13 years, right?
Yes.
So you started when you were 9?
Yes, I did.
That's impressive.
I had an early start.
I think that's really incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
Little Doogie Howser of teaching here.
I don't know how you pulled that off. It's really incredible. So did you do anything prior to teaching when you were 5 to 9?
I ran around like a crazy kid. That's about it. You know, normal kid stuff.
Where did you go to school?
For my education, my upper education, I've been to, Central Florida Community College for my AA. I went to UF for my bachelor's, Santa Fe for community college for my teaching certificate, and then I did an online master's at Grand Canyon University.
Very nice. And did you always know you wanted to be a teacher?
No.
No?
Not at all. I was exercise and sports science major in college at UF. And then I knew a teacher friend and they needed teachers. And he said, you would be a great teacher. I said, okay. And that's kind of how I got started.
Nice. And never looked back.
No. The profession picked me, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I've heard that before, actually.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Cayla's Coats. What does Cayla's Coats do?
Cayla's Coats, we started out through our church and as a ministry under them, delivering coats to kids. As an educator, you know, we saw the need for kids to have coats. So we wanted to make sure that they were warm in our nice cold winters that Florida has, right? So we started out through that. And then a couple of years later, I would say after our third distribution of coats, we decided to go nonprofit, and we moved out from underneath the church umbrella. And we still stuck with coats for a while, but then we started to become more of the water safety aspect of it. And we still do our coat distribution to those kids that are in need, life jacket distribution, education at different area schools and events. And then we've done our first life jacket loaner station. Got it put up in February at our county beach. So we're just rolling along with that and seeing where we go.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you're going to continue the coats indefinitely, or?
As needed. It's kind of, Florida's winters come and go. Right. This winter wasn't that cold. So as needed, we will deliver coats to those that are in need. But we like to say that we wear a life jacket on and off the water. So our life jacket is we wear our coats on and off the water. So our life jacket is our coat on the water. Right. So that's kind of our, where we're heading right now.
Oh, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. And so if someone wants to get a life jacket for their child, what should they look for?
Definitely make sure that it's Coast Guard approved. You want to make sure that that life jacket is Coast Guard approved, that it fits them properly. They go by weights. But as a parent, you need to make sure that they're not going to slide out of that jacket, that it's always fastened correctly. Those child life jackets that have the strap that goes between the legs, that's so important so that they don't slide out from underneath that life jacket. And just make sure that they're always fastened properly.
Gotcha. And what about the ones that have the strap across the chest and the arm floats?
The arm floats, those are U.S. Coast Guard approved. Mm-hmm. They're not my favorite,
Either. Yeah.
But they are Coast Guard approved. So, I see a lot of parents that use them, that have them, but still always make sure that you are in 100% view of your child while they're swimming or while they're around water. Because, and with any life jacket, it can come off, the kid can think that they still have it on and go back in that water. So anything like that. Definitely no air inflated floaties. Right. You can get a hole in those at any time. Those are not safe. I see them on the stores all the time and I just want to go rip them off the shelves. So, I think with any life jacket, with anything, it's not so much the device that's going to save your child as it is your supervision.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I think people do sometimes, rely a little bit too much on devices, especially the ones, like you said, that aren't Coast Guard approved.
Yeah. So
life jackets aren't air inflated then? I'm going to sound crazy here.
No, they have padding in them.
Okay.
They do have some that are air inflated.
Right. I've seen the ones that you wear and you push the button or you pull the tab and
yes, they do have those. Right. But there are some that are. But most life jackets, they'll have a flotation padding in them.
Yeah, it's like a styrofoam, right? Or like a
similar, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So does Cayla's Coats have any events they do?
We do. We have a 5K, 10K, 1 mile walk. Awesome. We had our first one in November. We're having it again. It's our Water Safe Citrus walk, and that's our main fundraiser right now to raise funds for our swimming scholarships that we do. We did $11,000 in swimming scholarships this year between our local PD aquatics instructor, which she does self-rescue swimming lessons, and then our YMCA. So we're impacting at least 100 families at our YMCA, and then about 50 families at our PD aquatics with the lifesaver or rescue swimming.
That's awesome. And how does what's the difference between the lessons?
With PD Aquatics, she does one-on-one instruction, and she's teaching them to basically, and then with the YMCA, they have group instruction. They also do have one-on-one instruction, but the YMCA is not quite as intense as the PD Aquatics instruction, so there's a little bit different. And I know that, every family, every child needs something different, so this way we're able to provide to all of those needs.
That's awesome. And if somebody lives in Citrus County and they wanted to get one, what would they do?
Contact us at Cayla's Coats. We have our Facebook page. We have caylascoats.org is our website. Or you can go contact our local YMCA or, sorry.
That's all right. Last night's full.
Or pdaquatics.com is Sarah's website. So either one of those
awesome.
can get you there.
Very good. Is there like an application or?
Yes, there is application. They each have their own different applications. We just donate the money to them, and then they kind of do their thing. It's a lot easier on our end to do it that way. Yeah,
absolutely. We kind of do the same thing with the pool fence donations. We let the NDPA or Paul DeMello or some other organization kind of tell us when they get a qualified person, and then we give them a pool fence rather than trying to pick ourselves, because that gets dicey.
It does, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So what could other people do to make sure their child is safe around the water?
I think the biggest is that active adult supervision that we've been talking about.
We talked about that.
That to me is one of the biggest things that you can do. Also, making sure that your child is aware of water safety rules. That, not only, and I know I have a 2-year-old, so I know that they can disappear just like this, and they're quick, and you can always catch them. So making sure that they know from an early age. I mean, my child, he plays in the bathtub and plays with Jake. Jake's got his life jacket on, so they know, at 2, that they should always have that life jacket on. So it's never too early to start. So I would definitely say active adult supervision, the education of not only your child, but any adult that's going to be around your child while they're at the water. We partnered with Collins Hope with the water guardian cards. So we've been passing those out and getting to make sure that every adult is aware and it's got that active supervision. Learning CPR and having those multiple barriers is the main thing. Your fences is excellent. You also, that's one barrier. They can get through those. So you also need to have, it'll slow them down. Alarms, fences, and just that supervision, I think is the key.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about the supervision. I was, unfortunately, I feel like I combat a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram recently. I think the more exposure we get, the more we reach people outside the community. So, and the number of times I've said that parents who say that they don't need layers of protection because they always watch their kid, those parents scare the crap out of me, because they're the ones that think they're okay and obviously aren't. Anyone who thinks that they watch a 3-year-old 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is delusional. It's impossible.
Yeah,
and
it is.
And every parent who has a hilarious story about their kid chopping up all of the Barbie doll hair, or drawing a mural in crayon on the wall, who didn't have some kind of barrier, locks, pool fence, alarms, etc. Just got lucky their kid didn't go outside into the pool.
Exactly. And that's what we thought. We always thought, well, it's not gonna happen to us. Nothing can happen to us. We're good, but things happen. Accidents happen, and we're all human.
Yeah. And how far was the canal from where you guys were?
Not far. What flood regulation? She's right on the water. So.
Gotcha. But yeah, so I think that's pretty common that people think that it's not going to happen to them. And I've noticed that drowning doesn't get the same level of media play, we'll call it, as other threats to children get, right? We had a few years ago, remember that peanut butter scare where there was like a batch of bad peanut butter, and some kids got sick, right? Which was not cool, but essentially it was a handful of kids got upset stomachs.
Allergens,
allergens, and it was everywhere, right? It was on Good Morning America, it was on the Today Show, it was plastered over, the news constantly. Meanwhile, that same summer while it was happening, kids were drowning every day and no one knew about it. So it's interesting that, drowning gets so little attention while these other things seem to really, pop up. Why do you think that is?
I think it's taboo. I don't think that that people want to think that it can happen to them. It's not. It's sad. People don't want to talk about it. But I think that it needs to be talked about. It needs to be shared, and I think as a member of Families United at NDPA, that is our goal, is that we share our stories so that it doesn't happen to anyone else.
What is what do you think? There's some things, I assume if anybody's watching this, they care about child safety and water safety in some capacity. What do you think people can do to, let the world at large know more about, what we're doing about water safety? That this is a real problem.
Share. Educate everyone. Everyone might not be a parent, but they might be a grandparent. They might be a friend that watches children. They may have a pool, but they don't have kids. So they think that, it's okay. I don't need that. But heaven forbid a neighborhood child comes in, drowns in their pool, that's their responsibility. So, and we see a lot of that where people don't have pools, but yet children are found in other people's pools. So I think education of everyone and making them aware that yes, this can happen to you, whether or not you have kids or you have grandkids. It can happen to anyone. I mean, we don't own a pool, but we have a water home, and I see all these homes on the water, beautiful homes, no fences, no barriers between the home and the water. So I think a lot of it's going to be that education aspect.
What are your thoughts on legislation?
It's not strong enough in Florida. I love that California has gone to mandating those 2 barriers now. Florida, we have a 1 barrier law. And I think that everyone needs to go to mandating those 2 barriers between, the water and the home. And I think a lot of it, we need to have more education out there from our states to everyone, especially, Florida, Texas, California that lead, Arizona, that lead in drowning. And I think that it needs to come from the state, because us little people can do as much as we can do, but unless it's made aware statewide, nationwide, that this is an epidemic, we're still going to have those baby steps that we're taking.
And the Florida law is especially problematic. It started out really good in 2001 when it kind of became the law that was modeled by the whole country. But since then, it's been slowly watered down and chipped away. So, I don't know if you know, but the law in 2001 required a 4-foot tall barrier with a self-closing, self-latching gate. And then, a couple years later, the gate requirement got taken away. It said you didn't need a gate. And then a couple years after that, they said you can also use hardwired alarms on the doors and windows that led to the pool. And that would be okay, or a pool fence you could pick. And then after that, they said that the alarms didn't have to be hardwired, that they could be inexpensive battery-operated alarms. Stick-on ones, right? And then those were okay to be code. And now, as of last July, in a last-minute change, literally at the 11th hour, a new change snuck in that says that you can have a floating pool alarm inside the pool. Which I don't think a lot of people know that, actually. It's it happened kind of really quietly. And so what's happening now is when somebody builds a pool, instead of getting a pool fence, instead of getting even the alarms and all the doors and windows, which the argument was at least these things were still in the realm of prevention, right? We were catching the kid before they got to the water. Now you can get a floating pool alarm, which I don't know if you have experience with those, but those are terrible. Those suck. They take a long time to go off. They false alarm constantly if it's raining or windy or, a duck is in the pool. And the first time, if someone does have kids and they don't yank it out immediately, the first time you get a false alarm when a mom just put her kid down to a nap, that thing's getting chucked in the canal. I mean, that's the end of that, Yeah. So yeah, those are really, really bad. And I'm hoping that we can hopefully get that part of the law flipped back to how it was, because it's because someone's going to drown. That's what's going to happen, and not going to be good. But you're right. The law in California is perfect. If I could model any law anywhere, the one in California is great, because it's the it has a paradigm shift, right? It actually uses the idea of layers of protection in the law, which I think is fantastic.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I saw Stephanie Marie Robertson. She says the puddle jumpers need to be pulled off the market. Oh, it's the bell. So is the first one like a 5-minute warning? Is that how that works?
Yes. Yep, we're good now. No more bells.
I'm trying to have a flashback to when I was at school. I remember there's the 5-minute warning bell, and then the actual like you're late bell, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. So Stephanie Marie Robertson writes, puddle jumpers need to be pulled off the market. No child can put one on a snap. No child can put one on a snap in the back of them. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yep. Stephanie also says that kind of like you were saying that she said it wouldn't happen to her, and it did. No one can watch their kid all the time. And Sherry Dawn Sheffield agreed with you about something a few minutes ago. I don't know what though. She said you have to know.
Hi, Sherry.
You know Sherry?
Yes.
Sherry's awesome. And Stephanie is probably our most loyal watcher. She literally watches everything we do, which is impressive.
Hi, Stephanie.
She's awesome too.
Thank you.
What else do you want parents to know about water safety in general? I mean, we've talked about education, we've talked about laser protection. If you could, sit a mom down and tell her one thing, what would it be?
Well, aside from what we've already talked about, I think swimming lessons is the next big thing. I actually had an application for swimming lessons on my printer when Cayla drowned. I had called someone, a local independent person, and they said, oh, this was before I knew about being able to self-rescue and what have you. And I know there's, she said, well, we're just going to blow bubbles in the water. You can do that with her at home. I said, okay, I can do that. Well, and now little do I know, going back, there's a lot more that I could have done.
Sure.
So I think definitely, having those swim lessons, but know that that's just one layer of protection. Just because they know how to swim doesn't mean that they can't drown.
Right.
So even though they've had those swim lessons and they're proficient swimmers, it does not mean that they should be able to go swim by themselves while you're watching from inside the house. You need to be there on the pool deck with them or on the lake with them. And always having that, that you're there, that there's an adult that knows how to swim that's there. Because if the adult doesn't know how to swim, there's not much help that they're going to be. We hear all these people that are rescuing people that are drowning, but they don't know how to swim, so they end up drowning themselves. So I just think, making sure that they know how to swim and that you're always there watching is one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and we have heard a lot of those stories. I wish that more people knew the reach, throw, row, go. Mm-hmm. That you should, reach for the person, then use something long like a shepherd's hook or a pole or something to try and reach out to them. Throw, something floaty.
Flotation device.
At them. And row, which is like a kayak or a canoe or a boat or something. And then if all that fails, then, try and go in the water. And hopefully you've called on one by then. Because you're right. I think we post on our Facebook page, once a week, a story about someone else drowning trying to save somebody. I don't think they realize, how deadly someone drowning in the water, an adult in the water can be.
Right.
I was going to ask you one more thing and I lost it, but it's fine. So in your community, how can people help?
In our community, educating those around you, definitely. We take donations. We have a PayPal or Cayla's.coats@hotmail.com. Donating to us, or even going to the YMCA or PD Aquatics and donating money for them to offer a swim scholarship for a student in need, are big things that we can do. We're in the midst of collecting life jackets and materials and funds to build our next life jacket loaner station. We have a couple other local public swimming areas that is our next stop for our life jacket loaner stations to get to. So we have our first one out and we're kind of tweaking, making changes, seeing how it's working, and then hoping to make our next ones a little bit better. So definitely we're looking for donations for that, for our swimming scholarship program, so that we're able to keep doing what we're doing.
And you've done so much already. I mean, you've got a great momentum. I think anyone can feel secure that if they're giving to you, that it's going to the right spot, given how many you've done already,
Yes, definitely. We've donated to PD Aquatics for the past 4 years. Our YMCA, our local YMCA, We've done 3 donations to them. They're brand new. They just opened. They've been open for 2 years now. So we've helped pilot off their swimming, and then we've donated for them for the past 2 years as well. And then we are actually all of our board members are all volunteer. So we're a nonprofit volunteer. We all have other jobs that we work. So nothing is going into our pockets. Everything is going back to our community. That's
really, really cool. And how do the loaner stations work? I mean, if someone just shows up and there's a jacket there?
Yes, they show up. We have jackets there from infant all the way up to adult jackets. And we have a big box out there at the beach. They use them and then they return them.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you about age ranges. When you talk about swim lessons, what age should people start looking into them, up to what age, I guess?
I don't think it's ever too late to learn how to swim.
That's true.
So, any age, if you don't know how to swim, you should definitely go get swim lessons.
Right.
But there are self-rescue that start at 6 months and up, depending on your need. And then, so anywhere from 6 months and up, you can start getting those swim lessons in.
Gotcha. I remember we used to, and they're better now than they used to be, but we used to argue all the time with documents put out by the American Academy of Pediatrics and other things that said that you should wait until kids are 5 to teach them how to swim. That was a big thing when we first started because they were worried about ear infections. The kids would get water in their ears. And our thing was that most kids drown between 1 and 4.
Yeah.
They don't make it to 5.
Exactly. Yeah. Cayla didn't make it to 5. So.
Yeah. If you wait till 5, you might you might be taking a big risk. And
exactly.
I don't think most kids get ear infections, honestly. But even if they did, I think I'd rather have the ear infection.
Yeah, definitely. Any day. I would go back and take an ear infection over what we have endured any time.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's not even a question. So I think that's a silly argument. And I'm glad that I think now they say 2 or 3. It's still not great.
Yeah. It's better than 5.
Yeah, but they've moved down from 5. Maybe eventually they'll get down to, the 6 months to a year range.
1. Yeah. I will say we started, I started Aidan. He was about 1.5 years just because of where his birthday fell.
Right.
And then we started Brantley at 6 months, or maybe he was like 8 months. And Aidan did a little bit better starting just because he already had that movement of walking.
Sure.
But definitely as soon as you can get him in that pool, get him used to the water.
Absolutely. And did, when he started at 8 months, did he have to do a refresher course or?
Yes. We go back. We're actually on the waiting list. I'm hoping she can get us in soon. Yeah. But Aidan, and since we don't have a pool at home, we don't swim a whole lot.
Right.
But still it's very important. So Aidan will go back for about a 3 or 4 day refresher course. And then Brantley will go back. This will be his 3rd season swimming. So he'll go back probably about a 3-week refresher course. And then we'll go back for some maintenance lessons here and there.
That's awesome. And that's that's pretty typical, I've heard.
Yeah, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So they've got to keep practicing and get that stamina up for swimming.
Sure. And then how does that eventually transition into more traditional lessons?
Well, where we go with PD Aquatics, she's taught Aidan. He's done snorkeling. He's done so that we can go, because we have a lot of scalloping here in Citrus County.
Right.
So he could go scalloping out there. She's done a swim team. So once they start and they're able to, show her that they can swim the full length of the pool, she'll start with strokes and all that. So she progresses there, and our YMCA actually has a wonderful swim team as well. So we've got a lot of options where we're at.
It's funny. I haven't heard anybody talk about going scalloping in a long time. That's funny.
That's like the big thing. Manatees and scallops here. Yes.
Wow. My grandfather was a shrimp boat captain, and in one season, I forget which, he did shrimp, and then the opposite season he did scallops. So scalloping was, not. I mean, he had a giant boat with a net, and it was a thing. But yeah, my dad used to shoot scallops, and it was a whole. He hated scallops when he grew up. But but it's like lobstering. I'm guessing you go under and scallop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about 3 to 5 feet of water usually is what we scallop in. Yeah, that's fun.
That's really cool.
Although I can't see without my glasses on, so I just stay on the boat and count all the people. That's my job. So.
Over and over again. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Mama
count to
duck.
make sure they're all there.
Just counting ducks over and over again.
Yeah, it's that anxiety that sets in. I'm like, oh, where'd it go?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, before we sign off, is there anything else you want people to know?
I don't think so. Just make sure that you're enjoying the water. I mean, water is fun. It's dangerous, but enjoy it. Have fun, and just enjoy your children because you never know.
And how can folks find you and Cayla Coates?
Cayla's Coates, we are on the web, caylascoates.org. It's CAYLAS, COATS.org, or we're on Facebook, which is usually where I'm more active. And then our email, if you want to get in touch with us, is kaylas.coates@hotmail.com. But that's about it.
Perfect.
Yeah, Facebook is the easiest way to contact me, to be honest.
It really is. I agree with that. Well, thank you so much. This was fantastic, and I'm sure somebody was helped by it, so that's really cool too.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it, Eric.
Sure thing. And enjoy the last day of school.
I will.
Your last day. So what do you do on the teacher's on the teacher work day, the last day? Are you cleaning out the room, I guess?
Well, I'm done. I'm looking at an empty room right now.
Nice.
So I'm going to go help a friend who's moving classrooms today.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, enjoy that. Have fun. I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you. This is our shirt from our race.
Nice.
So we have one coming up in November again.
Awesome. So everybody should go to that. That's going to be cool. Yes.
watersafecitrus.com is our website.
Awesome. All right, Jessica, have a good one, and I hope to talk to you really soon.
Yes, thank you, Eric.
All right, bye.
Bye. How do I turn it off?
Click it.
We're still live.